Perik Beis. A bracha is not a shavach utehila. It's not a form of praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it's rather a form. It's what the word bracha means is tosefes v'riboy. Very important, tosefes v'riboy, that apparently with our bracha we are being mosif something in the bria. It's lashon tosefes v'riboy. We're addressing ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but we're being mosif something in the bria. It's very difficult to understand, and that's actually why he wrote this, because to try to help us understand it, that what the inyan of bracha. Mentioned today, just want to maybe mention it again, the Medrash is right there, but the Medrash Rabbi, we started learning in the morning, Hilchos Birchas Kohanim. Are any Kohanim here? So the Medrash says that, in Parshas Nasai, the Medrash Rabbi says that Kosev Archos B'nai Yisrael, that the Kohanim should be Mevarach B'nai Yisrael. You should be Mevarach B'nai Yisrael. V'ani avarchem. V'ani avarchem.
We are in
Airplane mode.
Yeah, I have to do. Sorry.
So the Medrash says that that there was a time in the Bria, in the history of the world, that the brachas all came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's an interesting Medrash. See, there's a Medrash Rabbi Bamidbar. Right there. Oop. On the table. Having technical difficulties. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Nobody ever calls.
So the Medrash says in Parshas Nasai that that when it comes to Birchas Kohanim, it's at the beginning of Bamidbar, that it works like this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu always gave the bracha, Vayivarech Hashem es ha'adam, Vayomer lahem pru'ervu, Vayivarech Hashem es noyach. The brachas comes Parshas Lech Lecha, it changes to, Hashem says to Avram Avinu, V'heye bracha, that you will be the bracha. So the Medrash explains that the pshat in you will be the bracha is, just if I have the lashon here, that until now I was giving the brachas, and from this point on you're giving the brachas, meaning the brachas come ayidei Avram Avinu, and it goes on to say the Avram Avinu and the tzaddikim and the kohanim are now in charge of the bracha department. So the pshat is that what we have to understand is that there's something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu really is in charge of, and somehow or another he put Adam, the Hainu the tzaddikim like Avraham Avinu and Yitzchak, he put them in charge of the bracha department. So the pashtus hadavar, there's so many different levels to understand this, but the pashtus hadavar is that Hashem can give the bracha directly. Let's call it in simple Kabbalistic language, Yisharusa de la'ela. It can come from the Shemayim. Or he put certain things in our hands to do. And the certain things that are in our hands, so one of them is bracha. So we need to understand it. It only begs the question, what then is a bracha? But in other words, what I want to bring out here is that the Bria, B'chlal, has a derech that it works in. The Bria has a way that it works. The example I always give, and I think it's an accurate example, is the idea, let's say, like the rain cycle. Not that this is the rain cycle, but something like the rain cycle in the sense that why does it rain in this world? Because a cloud bursts and it rains in this world. Where does the water get to the cloud from? It evaporates from the Oretz. So what we're really talking about is a cycle. Where does the cycle start? Like every circle, it doesn't start, it doesn't finish. It keeps on going. That's what a cycle is. So the rain, and then there's something that we can do to affect the rain. For instance, if we, I'm not talking about doing rain dances, but begashmias, if we pollute the water, if we empty toxic chemicals, toxic waste into all the rivers and lakes and oceans, so what's going to happen is that's going to evaporate up to the clouds, and down is going to come acid rain. So what's happening is that the lamata is affecting the lamala. And it's very much the same thing, that the way bracha works, and I'm going to explain how bracha works, is that it begins, l'dati, it begins a cycle of how the world works, bracha. So until now, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Vayivarech Adam, Vayivarech Elokimas Adam, Vayivarech Elokimas Noach, all of these brachas, they started from Shemayim and they ended up in Aretz. But now I finally found a kli called Avram Avinu, and now Avram Avinu, you are not only going to affect the bracha that I'm giving, but you could actually start the bracha right here. You could actually begin the process of bracha and jump start it from lamata. So what the Medrash is talking about is that what used to be historically milamala lemata now starts milamata ad lamala. So the union of a bracha that we say Baruch Atah Hashem, or the Kohanim say Vayivarchu es b'nai Yisrael v'amor lahem Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha Yivarechecha Hashem. You should have bracha. What's really happening over there is now it's coming, the bracha. This is a way, you're standing in front of the Birchas Kohanim, and for that matter, every time we make a bracha, that's a way of jump-starting the Bria and creating a circle of blessing in this world. And that's a mitzvah's essay. Mitzvah's essay, Koi Sevarchu es b'nai Yisrael, Koi Sevarchu es b'nai Yisrael. There's actually a mitzvah's essay in the Torah to be Mvarach ad hayom hazeh. There's a mitzvah's essay for Kohanim to be Mvarach b'nai Yisrael. And what are they doing? Not just, okay, we feel blessed. What it means is that they're creating a better Bria by putting out there the opposite of acid rain, but putting bracha out there and giving it out. This went. The Chazal goes on to say that it went to the Kohanim, it went to all the tzaddikim. That's why the tzaddikim have a koach of bracha.
So, understanding, I just want to understand. So you're saying that the Medrash is not saying that the Metzias of bracha changed, just that we got the remote.
Right.
Switch.
We got the remote. We're in control.
And was there another paradigm shift when the Via ended, when Navi the Vias ended?
No, because Kohanim is ad liyom hazeh. Mefurish, that Kaisav Archu is Yisrael is an eternal mitzvah, and the Rishonim learned that it's not totally in the Karbanos, even though in the case of the Chumash, it is totally in the Karbanos. It says that Aaron made a oila and a shlamim, and he came down from the Mizbeach by Yivarach es ha'am, and he blessed the people. Rashi says there, Agav, while we're here, Rashi says two opinions. One opinion is, he said, V'hinoyim Hashem Elokeinu aleinu masi yadeinu koinenu, interesting. And the other one is, says, Amar lahem birchas kohanim. What did Aaron say? It says, Vayivarech hasam. What was even Varech? But when you think about it, what does it mean, V'hinoyim Hashem Elokeinu aleinu? Umasi yadeinu koinenu. Think about what that bracha means. What was the bracha that he was doing? Here we made something gashmius. This was the Chanukas HaMishkan. We made bricks and mortar and wood and karbanos and animals and really olam haza things. And what we're saying, V'inoyam Hashem Elokeinu aleinu ma'asi yadeinu koinenehu, that somehow or another, he said, we should always be zoicha. That was Aaron HaKohen, the Rebbe, Aaron HaKohen's bracha, is that we should always be zoicha, that ma'asi yadeinu koinenehu, that our ma'asi yadayim have an effect on the whole Bria. That's the correct way to understand it. V'boy same says Rashi, and another pshat in Chazal, as he said to them, Birchas Kohanim, Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, which is Oto Musag. The idea is that from the time of Aaron on, and it was really, says the Medrash, goes back to the time of Avram Avinu, Vayeh Bracha, and this was the whole Nakuda of the whole gracious is all about who gets the bracha, right? Who gets the bracha? Is it going to be Yaacov? Is it going to be Esav? Who gets that bracha? Vayeh bracha. Is it going to be Yosef is going to be the Shar Shvatim. They were fighting over the bracha. Is it going to be Ephraim? Is it going to be Menashe? It's not just a question who was the Bechor. It's a question is who's holding the ball. Who gets the bracha?
The remote.
Meaning the remote. Who's holding the remote? Well said. So who's holding the remote means who's controlling this Bria. Now, obviously Hashem is controlling the Bria. He made the circle. But the mechanism that a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Lefi Hasagasenu, I'm only talking on Mokem Shiyadi Magas. I don't even understand what I'm saying. But because I don't think a human being could understand it anyway. Certainly not me. But now I'm going to go even a little bit deeper to really go into what we don't understand, because it's important that we understand what we don't understand.
Before we go deeper, so what are we saying when we ask a tzaddik for a bracha? What are we?
That he has Maisiya Deinu Koinaneo, that tzaddik who's punished, like Sefer HaChinuch says, by Kohanim. Why Kohanim? Why should they have a koach bracha? He became Krovim Etzel HaMizbeach Kol Hayom. A Mizbeach, the Metzias of the Mizbeach, and I'll get to the tzaddik in a second. What is a Mizbeach? You're taking a piece of meat, it's like a barbecue, right? Taking a piece of meat, and you're taking Gashmias, the ultimate in Gashmias, and you're bringing it up to Ruchnias. The whole idea is taking Gashmias and making a Ruchnias. By the way, that's the whole idea of all of Judaism. All of Yiddishkeit is that, taking Gashmias, making Ruchnias. Why? Every time we do something interesting, like be Makabel Shabbos or make Hanukkah, or somebody has yard say, we light a candle. Why are we lighting a candle? What's the union of a ner? Ki ner Hashem nishmas adam, ner Hashem nishmas adam. It means that a ner is the concept of a ner is we're taking oil and cotton and klicheres, we're taking very gashmiistic thing, and we're turning it into light, into heat, into energy, into glow. So this is like the first step of turning gashmias into ruchnias. The tzaddik is the person. What is a tzaddik? What is a tzaddik? So
He's someone who's capable of doing it.
Someone who does this, even more than capable.
Masters it.
He masters very good. He masters the idea of taking a world full of gashmias. You could just live in this world and be completely megusham. It's possible. Most people do. But you can live in this world completely megusham, or you could say, I'm in the world for a purpose. And this is basically what the teaching of Avram Avinu was, to call all of the world. This is what he said. No, you're not just in this world to program a computer. Program the computer, you're taking gashmis, turning into ruchnis. The whole thing is to make this mahapich. There's a million Kabbalistic expressions for this idea. Malin etzoitza, isarusa de lasata, v'chulu, but it all comes down to the same thing. I'm taking something which is right here, and I'm bringing it oila la Hashem. Ola, I'm being malet to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So a bracha, now we're understanding a bracha a little bit deeper, that it's lashon tosefes v'ribui. Not Lashon Shevach. It's not like we're addressing HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we're saying, Baruch Atah Hashem. You are great. God is great. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God. No, that's not the pshat. What the pshat is that we have something in our hands now, like a tzaddik, like a kohen, like all of us. We have something in our hands now, Vayeh Bracha, that we can give Tosefes Riboy. We could put something Tosefes Riboy, and this is what we're doing every time we're davening, every time we make a bracha. We're adding something into the Bria, and by the way, not just here, not just in your life, not just in this space, but it's the whole Bria. Every time somebody makes a bracha, the whole Bria has a shinui. It's kind of subtle.
It's not just a tzaddik. So it's not just a tzaddik.
Correct. Anybody can affect the entire world.
Just less powerful.
Yeah. And there will come a time, says the Navi, that v'yivarchu kola, that the whole world will come and be mevarachas Hashem.
Is klola the defined by bracha?
Klola is acid rain. Acid rain. You're putting something into the bria which is a bad thing. Not just klola. The brachos and the klolos and Mishnah Torah. What are they? The brachos is hayim tishmu el divrei habrachazu. If you'll do these things, they're even separate from mitzvahs. If you'll do these things and you'll look at all of them, the common denominator, you're taking the world and you're using it for kedusha the way it's meant to be used. You know what it's like when a person doesn't do that? It's like putting your hand in the pushka, taking the money and buying yourself pizza. You're taking what is hektish, tzarech gavoya, and you're using it l'tzarech hedge. It's got to be the worst ever. It's got to be the worst ever, right? Everybody's masking, like even worse than stealing from somebody, stealing from hektish.
Does it imply miyut, klola? The bracha is ribui?
Yes, sir. Okay. But let's, like I said, that's the Pashut Pshat. That's the Pashut Pshat. But Nefesh Chaim says here, this is like the warning sign lahavdil on the cigarettes. Be careful. Be careful with this. Omnam. Ininya bracha lo yisbarach shmoi. When we talk about a bracha, do you understand that, in other words, do we understand now why Hashem said to Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol, who was Lifnayu Lifnim in the Beis HaMikdash, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him, Barcheni. Move on. Lashon Tosefes Riboy. Put something out there, Rabbi Shmuel. What did he end up putting out there? He ended up putting his life out there. He was the first of the Asara Arugei Malchus. Nothing. Kiddush Hashem, not necessarily dying al Kiddush Hashem, but Kiddush Hashem. Saying Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh every time you say Kedusha is Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem is the biggest koach in the Bria to change everything that's around you. Every time we say Kedusha, Kadosh, 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 Tzibur says Kedusha, it's changing the whole Bria. We need to understand that. So, Yishmael b'ni Barcheni is the Pshat. Rabbi Shmuel, be Mavarach me, and he says, this is how I'm being Mavarach you, Hashem. And it needs to be understood deeply. Yeh midas rachamecha. Your midas harachamim should be stronger than your midas hakas. I'll give you a bracha, God, you should keep your cool. No. I'm giving you a bracha, I'm creating bracha, barcheni, I'm creating bracha that I'm putting into the bria right now, Rabbi Shmuel, as he's standing lefnayu lefnim. I'm putting into the bria some rachamim. I presume, and I believe the Talmud Torah says this in Parak Daled, that he had to have that rachamim to put the rachamim into the bria. Understand how powerful it is? In other words, when you go against your nature and have rachamim on a person, you're putting rachamim into the bria. You're not just helping that person. You're putting rachamim into the bria. It could change the whole world. A person, chas v'shalom, goes with achzarius. The chas v'shalom lahapach. So it's what we do, what we say. It's all bracha. And how do I know this? Because take a look at the brachas and the klolos and kisavai. Nobody's saying baruch atah Hashem. It's all brachas. It's all brachas. And who's going to have the koach and the bria? This was the machlekes Yaacov and Esav. Is it going to be good going into the bria, or is it going to be bad going into the bria? Esav is a negative source. It's a very, very strong source. The trees might grow better with Esav. I don't know. Esav is Yitzchak preferred Esav. Yeah, he preferred Esav. But who's the question of Bechor? The question of who's getting the bracha? Bracha achas lavi. Do you only have one bracha? I give you also shtickle bracha. But the etzem bracha had to go to Yaakov, and they had to go to Yosef, and they had to go to Ephraim, Menashe, v'chulu ad liyameinu. But amnam inyan bracha, and here's the azhara. I'm sorry, they took it out of there again. Amnam inyan bracha lo yisbarach shmai ein hakavana. This does not mean la'atzmus adoin yachid brichu kaviyachol. It doesn't mean that we're making a change, a tosefes v'riboy in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The truth is, the way I explained it, we wouldn't think this, because I think I explained it well. But hava mina, that I'm making a bracha and I'm making a shinu baruch ato Hashem. I'm making a shinui in HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Have amina, that when Rabbi Shmuel was being Mavarach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he was losing his midas hakas and he was getting into midas harachamim. Have amina, that's what a superficial person will think. No. Eina kavana la'atzmus adoin yachid brichu kivyachol. Not making any changes in Hashem. Chalila v'chalila. Ki hu mirayme me'al kol bracha. What does that mean? He's above bracha. Meaning you can't change the he, Kivyachol, who drew the circle. You could only change the circle. You're not going to change the Yotzer Hakol, who made the circle. Chalila v'chalila, ki hu merayme me'al kol bracha. Avalai rather the pshat is, K'mashamar b'zayar, Emor, Void B'kam Mekayim to Kutchabrichu Hu Sasim V'Galya. We need to understand that Kutchabrichu Sasim V'Galya. He's hidden and he's revealed. Ki Atzmus Ein Soif Baruch Hu Sasim Mikol Stimin. Because the Atzmusai Shal Yisbarach is Sasim Mikol Stimin Ve'ein L'chanoisei Chas V'Sholem B'Shem Klal. Afilu B'Shem Havaya Baruch Hu. Even if we say Yud Kei Vav Kei, we're not talking about God. This is like really astonishing, and it's important for us to really pay attention here. Afilu b'kutzei shel Yud debei, because Yud Kei Vav Kei, and then the holiest part is the kutzei shel Yud. So again, let's understand clearly. There's Hashem, and there's the Shemois of Hashem. Elikim, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Shem HaMefarish, all the different Shemois of Hashem. The Shemois of Hashem are not Hashem. The Shemois of Hashem, any more than we would say to one another, look, you talk a lot of Lashon Hara, but you're not a Baal Lashon Hara. Nothing different about Drega. You drink a lot, doesn't mean you're alcoholic. All these things are bad, but it doesn't touch up the metzias of the person himself. You're doing a lot of averas, it doesn't mean you're a Baal Avera. Chazal are very medactic in this idea of who's a mumar, like who's actually you have sort of a bailus on avera. So when we talk about, this is a very important thing here, we have to talk about Hashem and Shem Hashem. And the Shem Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem, whatever that Shem might be, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Adonai. Baruch Atah Hashem, we're only addressing ourselves as far as the Shem of Hashem. Let's call the Shem Hashem, which represents different midos of Hashem, midos Hadin, midos HaChesed, etc. Let's call that the top of the circle. If we had to draw this, we would draw it as the top of the circle. So Baruch Atah Hashem, we're not addressing it all. Eina kavona la'atzmus adoin yachid brichu kivyachol. We're not talking about Hashem. So with the Baruch Atah Hashem, it's important that Yud Kei Vav Kei or Adonai is in there. Elokeinu melech ha'olam. Sha'akol niyeh b'dvarim. We're getting involved in the Kiddush here again is that a human being has a say, has a participation, is an active participant in the health of the Bria at any given time. That's the shameless.
When you say Hashem Echad Shema Echad, does that mean?
On the top level, Hashem is miyachid with his shameless. Yichudim. Okay, let's. He asks in parentheses, he says, I know that there's one kasha on what I'm saying. Ein Sof, one of the names of Hashem. It's not a real name of Hashem because you're allowed to say Ein Sof. What does Ein Sof mean? Eternal, the eternal one. So you see the Zohar calls Hashem the Ein Sof. Ein Sof Brichu. Ein Sof Achdusai. Einenu kinoi olav yisbarach shmai. It's not a reference to Hashem. We can't say Hashem is the Ein Sof. Ela kavona al hasagasenu oisei mitzad koiches hanishbai meitay bischabrusa b'tzoyno le'olam. The best we can say is that we can understand him as the Ein Sof. Now it's a very interesting thing because Ein Sof means infinity, and infinity is something we don't understand. Do mathematicians understand infinity? They know it's there. They can identify infinity, but I don't know if they can understand it. Who can understand infinity? You can only understand something that can be measured.
Time bound.
Yeah, or is measured on some level. But I mean, if you could just know, I think maybe in Einsteinian times they realized that there is such a thing as infinity. But there's also such a thing as God. It doesn't mean that we can understand it. But when we're talking about Hashem as the Ein Sof, Dalochem, we're not talking about Hashem. We're talking about a midah of Hashem, and not only not only is it a midah of Hashem, but when we refer to in the Zohar refers to Hakadosh Baruch Hu as the Ein Sof, it means it's referring to Hakadosh Baruch Hu in the Shlit'a. We're talking about Hashem as to what we don't understand. We're not talking about if it's something that okay, this much we can understand. I think Midas HaRachamim we can understand. Midas HaDin we can understand.
The unfathomable. Unfathomable.
Yeah. So when we talk about God as the unfathomable, how could that be a shame for Hashem? Let's just say that the ultimate in understanding is that we don't understand. It always keeps on bringing to mind to me the such special words of Reb Nachman, the Breslover. He was asked, listen in Likutei Amar, he was asked, how can you, time of pogroms and killing and bloodshed and his children dying, and, that was what was going on in those days in Europe, still going on. He was asked, how can you worship such a God? It's so not in other words, like a Holocaust survivor, how can you worship such a God? I'm out. And he said that I would never, as Reb Nachman said, I would never worship a God that I can understand. If I could understand it, that he's a science experiment. He's not that's the hope. In other words, what we're saying is such holy genius.
As Reb Nachman said.
Reb Nachman said, I would never worship a God that I can understand. That's the whole point. The whole point is that la'ela from what? Mikol birchasa v'shirasa. You're talking about the Ratzon Hashem. This is something. If I would, the whole point of worshiping something and being machnia yourselves to something and humbling to something. In fact, I'll put in my words, the whole point of religion is to humble yourself to something you don't understand. So if somebody comes to you and says, "I don't understand," Mazel tov.
You're in the right place.
You came to the right place. None of us were on your side. Who can understand?
When Mashiach comes,
Lav dafka, maybe peace. So, interesting when Mashiach comes, or b'chlal gilui or ein soif.
Our parsha we have is when after Kriyas Yamsuf that we then saw retroactively what the whole process of Geula consisted of.
Key word there is retroactively. So sometimes. In our own lives, sometimes 20 years tells the story. Oz, I always understand Oz, there's we have in life, we have Oz moments, aha moments. An Oz moment is, now I understand.
Ani Yosef.
Oz Yoimru Hagoyim. Oz Yamalei Schoik Pinu. Oz Yashir Moshe Bnei Yisrael. Suffering for generations. These people that were taken out of Mitzrayim, this major emancipation, they knew nothing but slavery. They were born into it. So were their parents. We're not talking about the Shvatim that came to. They were born into it. They knew nothing else, and there was no way to make peace with it. There was no way to understand it. You know that the Vatal Shavosam El Hashem. Hashem said, "Did you see this Mitzrayim?" Our parshas. Tal Shavosam El Hashem. Their Shava means their tefillah. Right. Went up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened. Look how deep it goes. This circle that we're talking about. Vatal Shavosam El Hashem. Their tefillah. Were they davening? What they all daven mincha b'kavana on one day? Were they davening? So the Arizal says that there's so many different types of tefillah. Maybe 27 words for tefillah that we find. Shava, that particular word, Shava, Shavasenu Tazin. Shava is a tefillah that we daven when we don't even know that we're davening. Hear me good. Ana b'choyach gedulas yemincha, tatir tzura kabel rinas amcha. Shavasenu kabel ushmat sakoisenu. Shavasenu kabel means be makabel our shava. Listen to our tefillahs that we don't even know we're davening.
Kvetching.
Less, even more. My neshama
Takosenu is
already
expressed.
Is already expressed. That's your correct.
Shavasenu.
That's your correct. Shavasenu not even expressed. Not only expressed. Not that I can't find the words. I don't even know I'm davening.
Is that Golas Hadibur? Is that Golas Hadibur itself?
Is it?
Golas Hadibur.
Shavasenu.
I don't have because I'm spacing out.
Huh?
Because I'm spacing out. That's what I'm.
Shabbaseinu kabel, ushmatza kaseinu. It was the tefillah of Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana. That sometimes Hashem, you have to take the bracha from Klal Yisrael that they don't even know what they're davening. So, when we're talking about, we don't know what we're davening. We're talking about not understanding on the deepest level, not understanding. That also brings bracha. But again, the kuda that we're saying here is that we're not talking about, in any of this conversation, we're not talking about atzmusai yisbarach. This, by the way, I'm not sure if you realize what a paradigm shift it is. That see, I just want to quote you the Sefer, one of the great svarim of the Reb Chaim Vital, Talmud of the Arizal, is the Oitzer Chaim. Oitzer Chaim, rather. The Oitzer Chaim. The Oitzer Chaim is the Reb Chaim Vital's Hagdama to Kabbalah. Like every single Kabbalah Sefer, I got through the first 5 pages. And as I've said many times, on the first 5 pages, if it's the Ramchal, if it's the Reb Chaim Vital, if it's the Arizal, if it's even the Zayar, it all addresses the same thing. They're all talking about the same thing. And that is, they all start with the same question, is why does Hashem make the world anyway? And the answer is always the same thing in one way or another, and that is, well, making the world is making the circle. And that's the Dira B'Tachtonim. Making the world is a place of Mahu Rachum Afata Rachum, of energizing the Rachmim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, energizing the Chanino of the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why he made the world. So Yitzchak Chaim, Nefesh, the Reb Chaim Vital, it's frightening if you read. I'm afraid to talk and I'm afraid to read, because if you read the Hakdama to the Oisres Chaim, he says you shouldn't learn in the Sefer unless you went to the mikveh, and unless you're completely tar for 7 days. And anyway, so I'm just reading the Sefer. But he says here, the reason I'm reading this is because he's marich in this Indian that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot possibly be called a rachum, let's say, unless there's somebody to have rachmanas on. But the lashon here is the lashon of the Reb Chaim Vital, quoting the Arizal. Lefi shehinehu yisbarach muchrach sheyeh shalem b'chol pu'laisav v'kochaisav u'b'chol shem moisav shel gedula u'mala v'kavod. V'im loy haya moitzi pu'laisav v'kochaisav lidei poyel u'maisa loy haya kivyachol nikra shalem loy b'pu'laisav v'loy b'shem moisav v'loy b'kinuyav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in order for Hashem to be shalem, he has to have a complete rachamim. A complete rachamim is only somebody who have rachmanas on.
It sounds like he's a mukhrach.
Oh, so he writes here in the Pirush, Vadai eina kavana la'atzmusa yisbarach. She'ein shaykh loimer ba'atzmusa loshen mukhrach. Chas v'sholom. Ein machriach u'mukhrach ba'achdusa yisbarach shmai. Nobody's pushing God around here. Hashem is sholem mitzad atzmai. Ela la'achar shegila me'atzmusai al yedei tzimtzum or ein soif, and this is why I bring this. What happened in the Bria must speak for us to understand is that the whole idea of tzimtzum, which we'll talk about again one day, what tzimtzum is, but the whole idea is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't understand it. We don't understand it. He's la'ela u'la'ela mikol berchasa v'shirasa. It's a whole different thing. We should not be amazed to think that we understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu even a drop. What we can understand, and what we've got over to Goyim, is that we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu started creating the world with the Or Ein Sof. He took infinity, and he started to put it into finity. Finity is a word?
Finitude.
Finitude. That's called tzimtzum. However it works, it's got to be the greatest philosophical problem in history. How do you fit infinity into finitude?
That's us.
How could it be? Or how can the neshama fit into the guf? Another way of asking the same question. How do you do that? So the answer is Simsum. Thank you. Simsum. Simsum. And the way it works, the Arizal taught us that it starts with an or, Ein Sof, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this is as close as we're going to get, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's or, Ein Sof, the infinite or, which goes and it comes into the Bria and turns into the world. So we're not at all dealing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Don't get me wrong. Like when you daven, like you have to daven, da lifnei mi ata oimei.
Yeah.
He's standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But we're not affecting HaKadosh Baruch Hu per se. It's silly to think, you see, I want to just tell you a thought process before we end here. That it's silly to think that we're changing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what are we doing? So let's put it in a different language. We're affecting the Sefiros. Because what are Sefiros? And this is the title. What are Sefiros? Because Sefiros, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, those Sefiros, look at them as prisms to which the Or Ein Sof is coming through in all kinds of different lights. Spheres actually have colors. So we're saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu, maybe push the light a little bit towards the Chesed and a little bit less towards the Din. You know what? Make the light go straight down to Tiferes. And you know what else? I'm davening for Malchus. Yeah, Malchus Shalchahi. What is Malchus? That's the bottom of this whole Sefiros. There's a top also in the Keser. Keser is the Or Ein Sof. Bring it down to Malchus. Bring your Or all the way down to this world in Malchus. And then, all of a sudden, the world is blessed. There's peace in the world. There's kindness in the world. There's abundance in the world. There's parnasa in the world. Because there's Malchus in the world. So look how simply complicated this is. But it's crazy simple, I think. Once you sort of chop it, like that there's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We believe, we know, this is the Koyach HaKoyachas. We're not making any changes in him. He's not mukhrach to do anything. He doesn't have to do anything. He made a world. He made 10 gazillion worlds. I don't know how many worlds Hashem made. But we're interested in the one we live in. This is the bubble that we live in over here. The world was made with an or, which is, I'm sure, a mushal. I'm sure it's not light as we understand it, but it's an or. The or is infinite. We don't say ein ratius. We say ein sof. Interesting. So the or is, in other words, infinity works on two sides.
Yeah.
But the or is coming into this world. It's piercing into the world through the Sefiros. And each one of these spheres has a different shame. The shame Adonai, the shame Alikus. And it's coming into the world, and it's coming in a certain way, and sometimes it's hard for us to understand. We're not worshiping what we understand. We're worshiping what we don't understand. We're told, V'hayeh bracha. Avraham Avinu was told, you're involved in this process here. I'm making you the CEO of the process. Because, as much as I made the circle, and presumably Hakadosh Baruch Hu just take away the whole circle, poof. But there's a circle here. There's a timeline. There's a 6,000 years which have to do with the six spheres, the six bottom spheres, until you get to the Shis Alfei Shnin Havei Olam, until you get to Mashiach. Gilui, who talked about Gilui before? Gilui. Gilui means that the or is niskala, meaning like the or is something that somebody else can see other than you. If you're a tzaddik and you're megala yourself, now I can see you're a tzaddik. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is megala the or. So let's leave it with that. What's a bracha? What's a tefillah? What's a mitzvah? What are we doing? What we're doing is we're getting involved in this whole circle, like the rain circle. We're getting involved in the circle in a profound way and affecting the circle. We're davening to Hashem, like Rabbi Shmuel said. Okay, look, you're asking me for a bracha, Tosefes v'riboy, but what it really means is bring more bracha into the world. Tosefes v'riboy, bring more bracha, and he explained himself, Rabbi Shmuel, clearly in the Gemara. So before Shul Gemara, he explained himself: let your light go through the midas harachamim and not go through the midas hachesed, not go through the midas hadin. He didn't even say agav while we're here. He didn't even say chesed. He said rachamim. Midas rachamecha should be miskaber al midas kascha.
What is the difference between chesed and rachamim?
Difference is like this. Chesed is when we're deserving of something. Rachamim is when we're supposed to have din, and you're asking for rachamim. So it's like this. Let's say lamashal, a person goes to in front of a judge, a court, goes to a court. You're hoping the guy's in a good mood. That he has an eye which is a chesedic eye, and he's seeing positive things, and he's not just it's chesed. In other words, come through the din of chesed. But sometimes he's not. Sometimes he could be in the world of din for whatever reason. The world of din is look, you broke the law. And rachamim means it's right between chesed and din. Rachamim means that you're chayiv b'din after the verdict of din. The person can stand in front of the judge and say, "I beg mercy." There's such a legal concept, isn't there? Mercy. What's mercy? I know I'm chayiv, but at rachmanas. Have some rachmanas on me, and it's some rachamim is not chesed. And Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol understood that in the door of the Chorban Bayesheni, to which he was 50 years before the Chorban Bayesheni, it's when all the tsars began, the time of Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol or Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. He understood that we're not asking for chesed any longer, because chesed needs to come from chesed. We're asking for rachamim. We understand your kas, so kas stands next to din and rachamim stands next to chesed. Let your rachamim take over. Like, what do you do when it's not so good? Let your rachamim take over the he taught us how to daven. It's important not to ask for rachamim unless you did something wrong. Because if you didn't do anything wrong, you're just asking Hashem, give me parnasa today. So you're not asking for rachamim, you're asking for chesed. If you ask for rachamim, al tiftach pelasatan. But if you know that you don't deserve something, this is the Gemara says that ganav apuma de gnivosa, that a ganav goes in to steal something, in his heart he's davening to Hashem. I should be matzliach with my geneva. It doesn't say that he's mavakesh rachamim. I don't deserve this thing. I don't work for it. It's not mine. I'm doing it on Haber. Give it to me anyway. So.
The question: there's two different modes that we're touching on here by Yishmael, Kohen Gadol, or any of us when we say bracha on an apple. Okay, one is there's an actor that's going on. I'm doing something. I want to affect this circle. I want to affect the hashpah that's coming into this world. On the other hand, there's bittul. I'm not the one who's. It's not my bracha.
So let's say it better. So bittul is to the Borei Olam, and effect is to the shemus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to the Sefiros. So it's pretty tricky to daven, because mitzad echad dal lifnei mi'ata oimed. You have to understand who made this circle, and I don't understand. You just have to understand that there's a circle maker here. Mitzad echad. Mitzad sheni. I'm put into this world to affect the whole bria, and I can affect all the Sefiros. I could, especially if you're Avram Avinu, especially if you're a Kohen, especially if you're a Jew. But anybody can affect the entire bria. Just what do you want to evaporate over there? Brings here that. The Mezritcher Magid says on the pasuk, "Asei lecha chatzotzros," make trumpets, right? With those trumpets, how do they fit into our religion? They're trumpeting around. What's it? So the Zohar says chatzotzros is chatzitzuros. Chatzotzros, chatzitzuros. Shekaviyachol meisim Hashem yisbarach atzmei bo'ofen shel shava b'shava imat tzadikim. Lashon of the Zohar, the Mezritcher Magid brings it. In other words, you have a half a circle. There's a half a circle coming from Hashem down, and then there's a half a circle coming from down up. You see, what does it mean that Noach saw a rainbow? Bow, keshes, ba'anon. he saw the top circle, HaKadosh Baruch Hu talking, I'm not going to do this again. That's completely Sarusa de Leila. We're completely now not roy for that. So the circle came like this. That circle completes itself under the ground. We just don't see that part. It's not as pretty. But that the top circle. So that's the chatzaitzres. That the tzaddikim and whoever can become a tzaddik becomes the bottom. So we're blowing chatzaitzres. So we're blowing shofar. What are we doing when we're blowing shofar? We're taking the vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blew His breath into us, and when we blow the shofar, in this case the chatzaitzers, we're giving back that neshama. All the same thing. It's all the same circle. There's the lamala and there's the lamata. There's the rainbow up, the rainbow down. We're the down part. Isarusa de leila, isarusa de lasata. That's where we're going with the baruch. So the baruch, the main point that I wanted to make today, is that the baruch is all about the circle. The Tosefes Veribwe is all about the circle. It's all about the Sefiros in the circle and the Shemus in the circle. None of it is about Atzmusa Yisbarach. Atzmusa Yisbarach perfect, doesn't change. We don't even know. We don't even know. We can't pretend to know. At the same time, we can know that He's listening to our tefillos. This is the thing. It's not just a mechanical thing of what are the Hindus call it? Like a karma type of we're just evaporating up. No, we're davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to make all of this reshet happen. It's happening on a regular basis. So God is involved. You can't do this without HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not like The Secret, you can't do this without HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we're standing Dalif Ne'miyata Oimed, and now let us also get around the table here and have a round table discussion. But the round table is like this, not like that. Have a round table discussion about how the world is going to get, and listen to everything that we do, even Shavasenu Kabel, Ushmat Sakresenu. Every Shava, that Shava, and a little bit of Chesed that we did in Mitzrayim, even in the Memtes Shari Tumah, caused the Geula. That's what caused the Geula. It's Afla Vavela. What a little bit of Chesed and Shava and us working down here. Batal Shavasam El Hashem. That's what brought a Moshe Rabbeinu into this world. Okay. Thank you very much. Rabbi said two things. Number one is, when Rav Twersky stops giving a shiur, which I guess is next Thursday for us. So do you want to switch back to 8:45?
He said Monday.
Monday he's giving a shiur.
He said Sunday, Monday.
Right, so Sunday doesn't affect me. But what I'm saying is Thursday, do you want to go back to 8:45?
Yes.
Or stay at
It
9:30?
sounded like he's not going to be here after Monday.
And that's what he's
He's
saying.
gone.
So
Going to America.
once he doesn't continue, the shear will revert back to his normal time unless people are
The
requesting
normal
otherwise.
time was a quarter to 9?
Right, so he's saying,
What, 9? So should we go back to 9 or not? Everybody agrees? Anybody disagree? Okay, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
The other thing is that I sent an email out that there's a presentation, a going away party, a Sudas Preda for the Rabbi and the Rebbitzin. So I'm asking everybody to write a line or two of anything that you want to say. Thank you, farewell, give me a bracha for my children, whatever you want to say. And if you type it to me, a couple of lines, I'm going to produce it all in a beautiful leather-bound, hopefully, book. So, but you need to email that to me today or tomorrow the latest. But I have to produce it or something. So today, tomorrow.